It's George Tyndall, and I'm back again. And I'm here to discuss the 1833 meteor shower and why I am correct in my findings. Now, but like I said, you have to go back and you have to research and you have to look things up, which is something a lot of people don't want to do. They just accept it that once a person says something, well, that's the way it is. Okay. There was a man named Dennison Olmsteads, a Yale science professor, used crowdsourcing to gather observations from across the eastern United States. The eastern United States, not the west, the east. Of the 1833 meteor shower, he asked people to send detailed observations to their local papers, then forward them back to him. Okay. His report was concluded January of 1834. Now, the meteor shower happened November 12th, November 13th of 1833. So from that time to January of 1834, his report was completed. And that's a very quick time to complete a report, whether people want to believe it or not. Now, the first newspaper publications in California was 1846. Washington was 1852. Oregon was 1846. Okay, which means testimony from those three states was left out. There was no way for him to get testimony from the western states. And when it happens completely over the continent, the United States, the whole United States, when you do your report, you need information from the east side, the west side, and in the middle. But there's nothing from the west side. It's all from the east side. Now, according to historical records, Dennison Olmsteads had the most accurate, well-documented. Yes, the most accurate, well-documented from the East Coast. Nothing what people saw on the West Coast. And which people did see, because I looked it up. Okay, there's testimony that Mr. Dennison Olmsteads didn't get because he finished the report so damn fast. Washington, there was a guy named Michael Shiner, November 12th, 1833. The meteors fell from the elements. The 12th of November, 1833, on Thursday in Washington. In Washington means that they fell in Washington. And this is the point that I'm trying to get across to people, but you don't want to believe it. And it said it frightened people half to death. Okay. Now, our science tells us it is highly likely that none ever hit the ground. Highly likely that nothing ever hit the ground from that meteor shower. And that's what people go on. It just can't happen. It's just impossible. It's not likely that anything hit the ground. Well, I'm telling you, people are wrong about this. Now, there's another testimony here that Mr. Olmsteads didn't get because he was in such a hurry. There's a person called Captain Joseph Walker who documented in California, not over on the East Coast, over on the West Coast, okay? His account, while camped along the Merced River in the Yosemite Valley on the night of November 12th, 1833, the expedition was witness to one of the most spectacular meteor showers ever recorded. Our men were again thrown into great consternation by the singular appearance of the heavens. Soon after, the dark air appeared to be completely thickened with meteors, falling towards the earth, some of which would explode, which there are no reports of any explosions on the eastern side of the coast. They would explode in the air, and others would be dashed into pieces on the ground. Dashed into pieces on the ground. This is what the man said, which means that they broke up on the ground. He actually saw them hit the ground. But you ain't going to find that testimony in Mr. Olmstead's report, because he didn't do the West Coast. Frightening the horses so much that it required the most active vigilance of the whole company to keep them together. Now, I really don't know what to tell people. If you're gonna report on something, you need everything. You just don't report half what the United States says and leave the other half out. And that's what Mr. Olmstead did. You can look it up. But I have 2 witnesses saying that meteorites or meteors from that 1833 shower hit the ground. And one person documented that they did explode on this side of the country. Not the east side, the west side. Now, people can keep calling me stupid and crazy, whatever you want. I'm going by what these people said and what they reported and what they wrote in their journals. And if you can't go by what everyone witnessed in history, you're only going to go by what part of the people witnessed who were furthest away from the meteors where they came down. You're missing out on the whole point. And I'm going to keep on because I know I'm right. I know I'm right about this. And we'll call that good.